The Vrex Dominion had conquered 17 solar systems in the last century. Their massive crystalline ships haunted the dreams of a dozen sentient species, their very appearance in a system enough to bring planetary governments to their knees. They were efficient in their subjugation, clinical in their cruelty, and utterly without mercy. Fleet Commander Zekstral stood on the bridge of the inevitable dominance, surveying the blue-green world on the view screen. Earth, an unremarkable planet circling an unremarkable star in an unremarkable arm of the galaxy. Intelligence had classified humans as a Level 3 civilization, technologically developed enough to have achieved limited interstellar travel, but still centralized around their homeworld. Their military capabilities were insignificant compared to the Vrex Armada. "Standard subjugation protocol, Commander?" asked Sub-Commander Vrilnex from her station. Zekstral's facial spines flared slightly in confirmation. "Proceed. Target their primary defensive installations first, then their governmental centers. Once their leadership structure has been decapitated, they typically surrender within 36 cycles." The inevitable dominance led a fleet of 5 capital ships into Earth orbit. The humans had detected them, of course. Their primitive defensive satellites had been tracking the Vrex fleet since it entered the solar system. Quaint warning messages had been transmitted and ignored. Now, electromagnetic chatter filled the frequencies as the humans realized the magnitude of what approached them. "Their planetary defense forces are mobilizing," reported Tactical Officer Krendak. "Primitive nuclear-based weapons and ion-thrust combat vessels." "Negligible threat." "Acknowledged," said Zekstral. "Commence with the demonstration strike. Target the settlement designated New York City." The Vrex had perfected their approach over centuries of conquest. A single devastating strike against a major population center typically broke the psychological resistance of most species. It was efficiently cruel, minimized military casualties while maximizing civilian impact. Energy gathered at the focal point of the inevitable dominance, a swirling vortex of plasma that would reduce the human settlement to molten slag. On the tactical display, Zekstral observed the panicked evacuation efforts already underway. Too late, of course. The weapon discharged, a lance of blue-white energy that pierced the atmosphere. And then, unexpectedly, deflected. "What?" Zekstral's spine stiffened in surprise. "Report. Unknown countermeasure," said Krendak, his claws moving rapidly over his console. The beam was redirected into the ocean. "Minimal damage to the target." "Impossible," Vrilnex said. "Their technological profile doesn't include energy deflection capabilities." Zekstral's inner eyelids narrowed. "Adjust targeting parameters. All ships, concentrate fire on the deflection source." The entire fleet fired in unison, a barrage that should have overwhelmed any defense system in known space. Again, the energy beams twisted away from their targets, redirected harmlessly into unpopulated areas or large bodies of water. "Commander, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface," reported Science Officer Mrextal. "Nothing matching known human technology." Before Zekstral could respond, the ship's sensors shrieked warnings. Hundreds of small craft had suddenly appeared around the Vrex fleet, materializing from what seemed like nowhere. They completely surrounded the invading ships. "Origin unknown," shouted Krendak. "They don't match any human vessel design. They're—" The inevitable dominance shuddered as the first impact struck. Whatever weapons these strange vessels carried, they penetrated Vrex shields with disturbing ease. "Evasive maneuvers," Zekstral ordered. "All ships, retreat to safe jump distance." But the mysterious defenders were everywhere, suddenly appearing when sensors showed empty space a moment before. 3 of the 5 Vrex capital ships were already crippled, venting atmosphere and debris into space. "Commander, we're being hailed," said Communications Officer Treslar. "Audio only, coming from one of the unknown vessels." "Let me hear it," Zextrol said, his voice steady despite the chaos erupting around him. A cold, measured human voice filled the bridge. "This is Admiral Helena Chen of the Terran Guardian Corps. You have attacked a protected world. Your ships are disabled. Prepare to be boarded." Protected world? Zextral's confusion was genuine. Earth is classified as an independent Level 3 civilization. It has no protectorate status with any major galactic power. A harsh laugh came over the channel. "You misunderstand, Commander. Earth isn't being protected by others. Earth is where the protectors come from." The communication ended as abruptly as it had begun. Moments later, the bridge doors disintegrated, and armored figures stepped through the molecular ash. Their suits bore no resemblance to the space technology intelligence had attributed to humans. Instead, they seemed to bend light around them, making them difficult to focus on directly. The Vrex security team opened fire immediately. Their plasma weapons passed harmlessly through the borders, as if they were holograms. The armored figures raised their own weapons, elegant, almost artistic creations that hummed with power, and the security teams simply ceased to exist. Not disintegrated, not vaporized, but removed as if they had never been there at all. One of the figures approached Zextrol. Its helmet retracted, revealing a human female with dark eyes burning with controlled fury. "I am Captain Liana Reeves," she said. "You are responsible for the attack on New York City." It wasn't a question, but Zextrol answered anyway. "I gave the order, yes. It is standard subjugation protocol. Did you know there was a school in the path of your weapon? A primary education center with 342 children?" Zextral's spines flattened against his skull, a reflexive gesture of confusion. Civilian casualties are an unfortunate but necessary component of efficient planetary conquest. The demonstration strike is designed to— 27 children died when your beam struck the ocean, Captain Reeves interrupted, her voice still unnervingly calm. The resulting tsunami hit before the coastal evacuation could be completed. Regrettable, but warfare. We are not at war, Commander. You never declared war. You simply came to kill. Zextral struggled to understand what was happening. These humans possess technology far beyond their classified capabilities. What are you? For the first time, Captain Reeves' expression changed, a cold smile that didn't reach her eyes. We are humanity's secret, Commander. For centuries, we have maintained the illusion of a developing civilization, presenting a tempting target for predatory empires like yours. Meanwhile, we've been out there, she gestured toward the stars, watching, learning, and waiting. Some of us protect other developing worlds. Some of us explore beyond the known galaxy. Some of us maintain the masquerade here on Earth. But all of us come home when someone threatens our children. The pieces suddenly clicked into place for Zextrol. The contradictory intelligence reports, the unexplained disappearances of previous scouting missions to human-controlled space, the strange gaps in the galactic map where no Vrex scout had ever returned. The demonstration strike was simply our standard protocol, he said, desperation creeping into his voice. We had no specific intention to target your young. Intent is irrelevant, replied Captain Reeves. The outcome is what matters. 27 children are dead, and now you will answer to their families. Within 24 hours, the entire Vrex fleet had been neutralized. Within a week, the locations of all 17 conquered systems were extracted from Vrex databases. Within a month, liberated species across the galaxy watched in astonishment as their oppressors were systematically dismantled by an armada of ships unlike any they had ever seen. The galaxy soon learned what the Vrex had discovered too late. Humanity had maintained a careful fiction for centuries, presenting themselves as an emerging civilization while their true capabilities expanded throughout the stars. They had watched countless species fall to the wrecks, and others like them, intervening subtly when possible, but maintaining their cover. But the death of human children had crossed an invisible line. It had unleashed not merely the Terran Guardian Corps, but the full, terrifying scope of human retribution. 6 months after the attempted invasion of Earth, Zextrol stood before the Galactic Concord, a governing body whose existence the Vrex had never even suspected, and listened as the full sentence against his species was pronounced. The Vrex would be confined to their homeworld, their technology dismantled, their society rebuilt under supervision. They would learn cooperation instead of conquest. And throughout the now peaceful galaxy, a new understanding spread. Humans were not the primitives they had pretended to be. They were the watchers, the guardians, the protectors of developing worlds. And they had one absolute, inviolable rule. You did not harm their children.